And more than 100 birds of prey were illegally shot, poisoned or trapped in the UK last year. The Royal Society for the Protection of Birds says this is the second highest year for the country since 2020. Through the morning's front pages now, and the front page of the Metro covers the signing of the latest agreements between the UK and France to address the small boat migration crisis in the Channel. The Daily Mail claims that foreign nurses training in the UK are being moved out of hotel rooms to make way for asylum seekers. The Eye leads with a call from the Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer for the Chancellor to raise taxes on big tech and remove the tax break for wealthy non-DOMs instead of punishing people on low pay. The Guardian hears from two of England's largest Conservative-run local councils who say they could go bankrupt within months, while the Daily Telegraph suggests a steep increase in council tax is on the way, pushing average bills to over £2,000 a year. The Daily Express says that the Prime Minister will bow to the demands of pensioners and stay committed to the triple lock. Well, the Daily Mirror features the pensions campaigner, Ricky Tomlinson, saying that pensioners will die if the Prime Minister breaks the government manifesto pledge on the triple lock. The Times reports that Jeremy Hunt plans to help the poorest by boosting the national living wage. The Sun has more from that interview with Cristiano Ronaldo, and the Star bemoans an apparent shortage of breakfast egg supplies being suffered by a pub chain. Now, if you want to see those front pages again and read the stories attached to them, do scan the QR code that you see on your screen.
Edinburgh's War Memorial was set on fire yesterday, less than 24 hours after Remembrance Sunday services had been held. Several wreaths, which were laid in the Royal Mile, were completely burned, and the city's Stone of Remembrance was also damaged. Edinburgh's Lord Provost, Robert Aldridge, said the act of vandalism was disgusting and disrespectful.
Shocking pictures, aren't they?
Awful in Edinburgh. Start with the Times today. Lots of the front pages include reports about potential announcements. In Thursday's autumn statement, Times saying the Prime Minister will prioritise support for the poorest by boosting the living wage from £9.50 an hour to around £10.40 an hour.
There's lots of numbers this week in the papers. Here we go. Here's the Telegraph reporting that average council tax bills are expected to exceed £2,000 a year for the first time. It says that plans by the Chancellor to let councils raise the levy by 5% would mean households in Band D, a typical Band D property, would face paying up to £100 extra. Nick Eardley will tell us a bit more about that later.
The Metro pictures the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky during a visit to the recently liberated city of Kherson, which had been under Russian occupation for 8 months. Mr. Zelensky says this signals the beginning of the end of the war.
And one of the most watched videos on BBC News Online still this morning is something we featured on Breakfast yesterday. It's a day in the life of single dad Samuel, who lives in a one-bedroom flat in Bristol with his 2 young sons.
Yeah, lots of you have been in touch about Samuel and his family, and I promise you we have passed on all your messages and best wishes to them. We will keep checking in with him and we will let you know how they are all getting on. We will be going back to check on them.
We will.